New at 11, a Virginia Beach couple has filed a wrongful death suit against rideshare giant Lyft. They say one of their drivers is responsible for their son's death this past January. 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd spoke with the attorney in an interview you'll see only on 13 News Now. Robert.
Well, Regina, these attorneys say 23-year-old Justin Lavelle was pepper sprayed by his driver and then forced out of the car on a busy California highway where he was hit and killed by another vehicle. The man's parents want justice. Ocean Lakes High School graduate Justin Lavelle had been living in Los Angeles for about 3 years, working to become an actor or model. Just after midnight on January 31st, he ordered a Lyft share. The other two passengers with him were dropped off at their destination. Justin was not. According to the lawsuit, some sort of dispute took place between Justin and the driver.
He was pepper sprayed. He was kicked out of the car on the 110 highway. The 110 is one of probably the busiest highways in the country, and there couldn't be a worse time to be dropped off. People are driving very fast. There's poor lighting.
According to the lawsuit, the driver just sped away, leaving Justin standing alone on the shoulder.
We do know that Justin called his mother at that point after he was dropped off the side of the road. Telling his mom he could not see, he had been pepper sprayed, and moments after that, the friend went dead.
Justin was hit and killed by another vehicle. Attorneys Joshua Coe and Catherine Six say Lyft needs to be held accountable for what the driver did.
I believe his credibility is at question at this point. Our desire and the family's desire is that we reveal the truth of what really happened that night.
These attorneys question, if the driver was in any way threatened, why didn't he ever call police? They also point to the two other passengers that were in the car minutes before the incident.
And they have, from our investigation, have stated that Justin was not acting any way out of the ordinary while they're in the vehicle with him.
Not only do Justin's parents want justice, they want Lyft to improve their standards and practices, so this type of thing doesn't happen to anyone else's child.
The top priority of these companies ought to be and should be rider safety.
Now, we did reach out to Lyft for comment on this lawsuit, but they have yet to get back to us. The driver in question has also been named in the lawsuit, but has not yet been charged with any crime. Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.